Okay guys, I'm going to do a quick tutorial on what's expected for your first 3 what if video. So unfortunately I only had time to do 2 of them really quickly, so you have an entire week. It's due Friday as an MP4. But let's say that you only get this far where you've made a sketch for all 3 of them. Pretend there's a third one. I'm using different frames for each. Um, if you do get to color, this is my recommendation. You'll do your line art in one, and then your color should be a separate layer. Um, what I like to do with the color is I'll just, copy my line art here, create a new layer, and then do edit, paste in place, and that'll make sure it gets pasted in the same spot that your original is. And that way you can go ahead and either use the paint bucket tool to fill in colors. Don't forget that the paint bucket has, if you go to tools under properties, it has this option here that says close small gaps, medium gaps, or large gaps. So if you're trying to color something in and nothing's working, make sure you come play with this. Always though, make sure that your lines are closed off or nothing's going to get colored in. And I always like having a color palette set before coloring in anything. So that's with the paint bucket tool. For the second one, I didn't really have a good clean sketch. It was just kind of done fast. So this would be harder to paint with the paint bucket, if not impossible. So what I did, again, I just copied this line art. Make sure it's highlighted. You can push on the keyframe here and it'll highlight everything. And you can do edit, copy, come back to your color layer, right? And then edit, paste in place. And what this does is that for this one, all I did was use the paintbrush and very loosely kind of colored in. That's why you see it's pretty rough. An idea of where this color is going to be placed in. But again, if you don't get to coloring, that's okay. So if it's something like that, that's all right. For the first one, whoops, you can write in your what ifs to take some space as well. So let's say this one was, what if this one I drew a little bit too big. Oh, let me right click on this one and hit insert blank keyframe. I probably could fit it somewhere here, but if you can't fit it, that's okay. Say you do get to sketch it and color it. That's great. If you get to backgrounds, don't worry too much about the backgrounds. For this one, I just looked up art image, like inspo images, because we haven't gotten to that portion. So if you do finish sketching, coloring, move on to a background and just copy paste a background in the back. Notice how there's literally a bunch of different layers. You should always have multiple layers and always use references. So if I were to unlock this, I can show you all of my references for both of them. So again, don't be afraid to copy paste some, make sure they're in their own layer, some references to help you along your way. And once you're done, or if you're done using them, you can always hide it or delete it all together so it doesn't render out. But let's say I only got this far. Once you're done, just make sure each of these are there for about a second. So all I have to do is hit F5 a couple times here. So let's just insert frame. go. This will give you enough time to actually speak for the video, and then this one should be easy. Just go to the 3-second mark. Oops, it went too far. Well, let's all go to the 4-second one here. So now they're going to be there much longer. Awesome. So you should have 3. They should be there for 1 to 2 seconds. Once you're done and you're ready to export, just to be safe, I'm actually going to delete these for now. Well, first, File, Save, and then delete these. You're going to go to File, Export, Export Video Media. You leave everything by default. The only thing you'll change is the output. You'll change it to your USB. This will have a media encoder automatically open up for you. Okay, it'll tell you an MP4 has been created, and that's how you export an MP4 from Animate. So you don't have to use Animate if you don't want to. I'll go ahead and post a video on how to use Photoshop if you're more of a painterly kind of artist.